Hello everyone, it's me again, your teacher Zayan, and I am back for weeks number 3 and 4 lesson, which is the properties of a well-written text. Let's begin with a prayer. In this prayer, let us all close our eyes and please feel the presence of the Lord. Loving Lord, we praise and glorify your name. We're humbly asking for your guidance throughout the day. May we have the wisdom to understand today's lesson. We're thankful that today we are alive and well. We have the chance to do good and be of service to mankind. Amen. For our most essential learning competencies, evaluate a written text based on its properties. For our specific learning objectives at the end of the week, you are expected to identify the properties of a well-written text, such as organization, coherence and cohesion, language use, and of course, mechanics. Second objective, evaluate a written text based on the properties of a well-written text. And of course, last, write a paragraph observing the properties of a well-written text. Now, let's begin with this game. So I want you to get a piece of paper and then you have to choose a garment or clothing based on the situation or an occasion. So I'll tell you what you should write. So this game is called What to Wear Where. Okay. You just have to no, you cannot say mine, but you have to write. You write mine and then the number of the item. Just if you are shopping on live selling. So you choose which dress or clothing is appropriate to the occasion or event. Let's have the first one. What do you think? Is the clothing appropriate in this place? Is it one or two? Please write it on a piece of paper. Next, this one. I think this is very familiar to you. Have you been in this place? It's just a neighbor of our school. Okay, is this one or number two? You write your answer on your paper. What about this? Oh, do you miss this? Do you miss this place? All right, I miss this place too. What do you think is the appropriate attire to this place? Is it one or two? Okay. What about this one? When was the last time you went here? Is it one or two? Next, this one. Okay, one or two. Oh, right. And now, guys, whenever we go out, let us not forget that we should always wear our face mask and face shield. Why? Because we need to think safe, act safe, and be safe all the time for us to help stop the spread of the virus. Okay, now what have you noticed about the pictures that I've shown you guys? What do you think is the relevance of that? What is the relevance of the activity? Okay, that activity tells you that you dress according to the place or to the event or to the occasion. The same thing with writing. Our language should match the place we're in, occasion we're celebrating, and the audience we're conversing. So whenever we're at work, with friends, with family, in a formal situation, at a football match, we use different language. We call that language use. So we use different language based on the person that we are speaking with, based on the place we are in, and based, of course, based on the topic we're talking about. It's the same thing goes when you are writing. That's why we're important to know the five major issues in an effective, well-written text. First one is formality. So in an academic writing, it is a must to use formal language. How do we manifest a formal language? There are three things that we need to avoid. Need to avoid contractions, abbreviations, and acronyms. So what do we mean when we say contraction? In this example, students shouldn't be indolent when it comes to their studies. So that is actually informal. To make it correct or to make it formal, it should be written like this. Students should not be indolent when it comes to their studies. So you should not use the word shouldn't. It has to be should not. So the word should not be contracted or put together or shortcut. And the same things go with other example. Like have not instead of have not. Instead of haven't, you write have not. Instead of won't, you write will not. Instead of shan't, you write shall not. Okay. What about this one? The principal requested the following by writing the FF and then period. That is not formal. It should be the principal requested the following. Because FF here is an abbreviation. So that is wrong. Since she was a kid, Joy wanted to work in GM. So what's wrong in this example? What's wrong is that the GEAMH or the GM. Because GM stands for General Emilio Aguinaldo Memorial Hospital, which is actually an example of acronym. Again, to show formality of language, you should avoid contraction, um, contraction, acronym, and abbreviation. Now, let's talk about jargons. What do we mean when we say jargon? Jargons are actually specialized language, words or language specific to a certain field. Please remember that we are writing an academic paper for us to give information. And if we write something using highly specialized language, not everybody will be able to understand it. Then the purpose of writing will be defeated. So therefore, we should not use jargon in academic writing. Okay? Let's have this example. Justify. So justify in court meaning to give evidence or to defend yourself. But in typing, justify means the alignment of the lines. What about stage 3? Stage 3 when you're playing games may mean a celebration because you already leveled up. But in medicine or in health, stage 3 may mean stage 3 breast cancer, stage 3 cancer, so that the person is terminally ill. So it's a counterpart. On the first examples, in games, when we say stage 3, you will be happy. But in health, when you say someone is already in stage 3, then we might be weeping now, or we're gonna be so frustrated about it. Now, what about positive? Is positive positive? Are all positives really positive? This one may mean don't be a negative thinker, be a positive thinker. But nowadays, when you hear the word positive, does that make you happy? Probably no, because we don't want to be positive of coronavirus. Okay? Therefore, we say that some words might have a different meaning to other people. So we should avoid jargon. We have to make the message of whatever we are writing clear by choosing the right word. Now, we also have to avoid slangs and idioms. So what do we mean when we say slang? What is idiom? When we say slang, these are actually short-lived language. So these are the words or the language that die. So short-lived. A certain group of people might be using it at a certain point in time. So they're the one who coined the term, who started using the term. It was accepted by a certain group of people or by many people at a certain period of time, but not in a long term because the words die because they are just so short-lived language. What about idioms? Idioms are culture-based terms or culture-based words or phrases because they have extended meaning that may differ based on culture. He wanted to catch some Z's. This is an idiom. So what is the meaning of Z's there? Does that mean letter Z? Actually, Z's there may mean he wanted to catch some sleep. So when you just say he wanted to catch some Z's, not all people will be able to understand that. Break a leg, Zion. Break a leg. Is that literally breaking someone's leg? It means good luck. So for us not to have confusion and for us to make our message clear in academic writing, we avoid idiomatic expression. What about these examples? I think you're familiar with these examples. Thanks. Happy birthday. I love you. Oh my god. I know, right? You write back. BRB. So these are internet slangs or language, internet lingo. The were invented by, of course, the netizens or people on the internet. So these are accepted because to some, because they understand, but not to all. Others might not understand. It's the meaning of TTYS. Pala, it means talk to you later. ICYMI in case you missed it. So those things. So in general, autistic people tend to lack intuitive understanding of unspoken social rules that apply to different situations, leading to social faux pas or blunders or mistakes. For special people, they because of their condition, they really lack that sense of understanding of social rules. So that's why we have to make things. We have to express what we want to say clearly in a manner that all people would understand. Okay, now we also have euphemism. We have to avoid euphemism. Why? Because euphemisms are words or terms that actually veil the true meaning or true message of something. And again, our goal in academic writing is to make the message clear. That's why we do not use euphemism in academic writing. His brother passed away yesterday. Euphemism here is passed away, which means his brother died yesterday. People who live in that street are economically challenged. Economically challenged simply means poor. Okay. Lastly, we also need to avoid biased language. What we mean by biased language? Biased language are the words or terms that are leaning into a certain group of people. It can be leaning into a race, leaning into a gender. So, in academic writing, we have to be careful with our choice of words. The chairman of the committee has approved the deal. What makes this sentence wrong? It's the word chairman, because it is assumed in that sentence that the chair is actually a man or male. But the chair can be a woman as well. So to be safe, we will change chairman into chairperson. The policeman caught the culprits, but there are police woman, the police women. So the police officer is much better to use. And the other examples. Okay. Avoid the terms or the words on the left. Please avoid them and consider using the terms on the right side. Now, let's go. And that's it. That is actually the first property, which is language use. The second property has something to do with punctuation marks. I want you to read sentence 1 versus sentence 2 um, silently and think about or contemplate on the meaning of each sentence. The first one, without any punctuation mark except the period, some people find inspiration in cooking their families and their dogs. Second one, some people find inspiration in cooking their families and their dogs. See, what did we do on the second sentence? In the second sentence, we just put comma. Comma after cooking, comma after families, and those two commas made the difference in the meaning of the sentence. Because in the first sentence, without punctuation mark, the reader might misunderstood what's the meaning. It may mean without the punctuation mark that some people find inspiration in cooking their families and cooking, or they might eat their own family and their dog because they cook their family and dogs. But what the author might want to really say is that some people may get inspiration whenever they cook, will be inspired whenever they cook, or they get inspiration from their own family or from their pets, dogs. See the difference? That's why punctuation matters. And punctuation is actually under the second property, which is called mechanics. Again, remember our first property is language use. Second is mechanics. What is actually mechanics? Specifies the established conventions for words that you use, spelling, punctuations, capitalization, etc. In other words, when we say mechanics, it only means the rules in writing, covering spelling, punctuations, and proper capitalization. So I have here an example. This is just a spelling practice. What do you think is the answer? Is it the first believe, or the second believe? He is so conceited, first or second conceited? So I think you are now having a confusion within the succession of I and E whenever we write them in the words. So just remember this clue. I first before E, except Alice. Okay? What do you mean by that? So most of the words that have I and E together in the spelling follows the rule. It's I before E first. Except when there is letter C. If there is letter C, you follow Alice. It's E after C. Remember that. That's why it's conceited. The correct spelling there is CE. In number 1, believe. It's IE. Did you get the point? That's why I before E except Alice. Number 2, as he was dying, the chief asked for a priest. So, IE first. So chief the second one, and then priest, i.e. still priest second one. Okay. And here are examples of a proper capitalization. Whenever you write proper nouns, capitalize the first letter. Proper adjectives such as Canadian, Malaysian, Filipino, American, and all other proper adjectives. Days of the week, from Sunday to Saturday, capital first letter, because those are proper nouns. Months of the year, January to December. Specific course title. That's why when you write our subject, you write reading and writing skills with a capital letter R. Now, that is the second property. Again, first property, language use. Second property, mechanics. A third property is called organization. Organization is the way a text is organized or arranged that helps to guide the reader logically through it. Makes a text readable, and its message clear. When we say organization, overall, it's how you put something together. Okay? And that way of putting the something or the paragraphs or the sentences together should help the reader better understand what is the text about or what is the text saying. And when we talk about organization, we have to consider physical format. It's an aspect of the organization that is immediately apparent to the reader. It is seen in how the text physically appears, like headings and subheadings, bullet points, or font emphasis. However, use this technique with discretion, as improper or superfluous formatting can be confusing. So in other words, it's what you see. If you see there, it's the physical appearance. If you say there are bold letters, bold or italicized letters, why is it that some letters are on the left side, on the right side, justified, and the center, etc. We have headings, subheadings, bullet point. That is actually called physical formatting. And that's supposed to aid you in better understanding the text that you are reading. Again, physical format. Also have, this is important, structure. So when we say structure, this is the framework upon which the text is organized. And this framework, of course, has three important parts: beginning, middle, and end. Beginning is composed of introduction, thesis statement, and then hook. Middle supporting details, end is conclusion, summary, and final message. In other words, whenever you write a paragraph, there are important sections or parts. The introductory part, which is the beginning. The middle part, or the body of the paragraph, which contains the supporting details. And then last, of course, the conclusion. or the last part which contains the restatement of the thesis statement. Let's go to this illustration. This is taken from Sir Alan, protagonist, or Sir Alan Navida. He posted it on his Facebook account. According to him, this is how he structured his paragraph. So he put their introduction, body conclusion. In the introduction, you have general statement. What's the essay about? Thesis statement is the specific claim. And then to support the specific claim, there are supporting details or specific details on the body. And of course, the conclusion, restatement of thesis statement. As you will notice, the illustration's shape is like an hourglass. Uh, the first part, the introduction, is a wide space because the idea is generic or general, and it goes it, it it becomes smaller simply because the details are getting specific, more and more specific, and then going back to the general idea on the latter part or conclusion because it's a restatement of thesis statement. I have here his actual paragraph example. We all have dreams in life. In my case, I want to be a teacher. I want to teach and inspire students. I want to impart new knowledge and helpful ideas that will be beneficial for them. I will share all realizations and experiences so they will be as optimistic as I am in facing their challenges in life. It is for these reasons that I want to be a teacher. So he started this paragraph with the general topic, introducing the general topic, the dreams in life, and he became specific in the topic sentence by saying he wants to be a teacher. And then to be in at the on the body of the paragraph, he tried to reason out or tell the readers what are the specific reasons why he wanted to be a teacher or why he wants to be a teacher. Are you getting the point? From general, it's getting specific by supporting. And remember, the word here is support. The details in the body of the paragraph support whatever is your thesis statement. And then going back to the statement of thesis statement on the conclusion part. That this is a sample of a structure of a simple paragraph. You may follow this structure in accomplishing your paragraphs for week 1 and 2 because I've asked you to write 8 different paragraphs following different patterns of paragraph development. Oh, now we go to, I think this is the last one. The last property, it's a pair. We call it coherence and cohesion. Question is, what's the difference between coherence and cohesion? Cohesion means the overall understandability of what you write or say. Cohesion refers to the degree to which sentences are connected so that the flow of ideas is easy to follow. This is how I want you to understand it. Coherence pertains to the overall message of what you have written. That your paper only talks about one specific idea. Or no, one general idea. Whatever you write in the first sentence, on the second, on the third, on the fourth, until the last, talks about one general idea or one main idea or one central idea. That is coherence on a message level, on a meaning level. But when you say cohesion, this is the connectivity of the words or the sentences in the paragraph or in your piece. In other words, cohesion pertains to grammar, while coherence may pertain to the meaning of the overall meaning of your piece of your paragraph. Again, coherence is meaning, cohesion is grammar. And how would you be able to achieve that smooth flow of idea? Through the use of transitional devices or connectives. Okay? So once again, there is a description. A text with both cohesion and coherence is a central concept linking all the ideas in the text, and these ideas are presented in a logical manner. The main point is clear and the text is easy to follow and understand. Oh, see? There's only one central idea, and cohesion helps you to better understand the text by establishing the links or the connection between the paragraphs in the text. So, as a summary, here are our 4 properties of well-written text. We have organization, coherence and cohesion, language use, and mechanics. This table sums up our lesson for weeks 3 and 4. Again, I just want you to remember that when we say organization, it is how you arrange your text. It can be achieved by considering physical format, structure, and connectives. And also remember the STTC because STTC makes a well-formed paragraph. What is the meaning of STTC? This is single idea, the connectives for the C, topic sentence, and other supporting details because we're talking about the structure of the paragraph. Next, second property here, coherence and cohesion. Again, coherence is the overall understandability of what you write or say. Cohesion refers to the degree of which sentences are connected so that the flow of idea is easy to follow. So, coherence, meaning level. Cohesion, grammar level. Focuses on linking of ideas. Third, we have the language use, the appropriateness of the words based on context. Consider the following issues: levels of formality, in-group jargon, avoid slang idiomatic expressions, avoid deceitful language and euphemisms, avoid biased language. And lastly, we have the mechanics. It specifies established conventions for words that you use, spelling, punctuations, capitalization, etc. So, punctuation mark, capitalization, spelling. Always remember that punctuation matters. No matter how small a punctuation is, just like a period, but that period or comma makes a difference in the meaning of whatever you have written. Okay? Please remember this 4 properties of well text. Now, let's go to the assimilation or the activity. This announcement, especially for the modular students, so if you will follow whatever is on the learner's packet that we have given you, in each topic there is an assimilation, right? One for coherence, one for organization, one for mechanics, one for language use. But if you will watch the video lesson, then here you will know that I will only be asking you to do 3 things or through activities. So this is the bonus for those students who are watching the video lesson. But to those who are not watching the video lesson, edi let them do all those activities in the learner's packet. But I am giving the go signal for those who are watching the video lesson that you will only need to do this activity. Okay, you can find it on the learners. What will you do here? You will just write about important events in your childhood until adulthood. Should be in the correct order. Then provide a catchy title for your story. So you don't have to write a paragraph. You just have to enumerate important events in your life since childhood until now. Just describe the event. That's it. That's one. Next activity, for coherence and cohesion, you are just asked to jot down all your ideas about the word happiness. So, get a paper, take a moment to just write down whatever words that will come to your mind when you hear the word happiness or any word that you can associate with the word happiness. Then, review your draft and then now write a paragraph about the word happiness. You can simply say what makes you happy as a person. Do you agree that social success will make a person happy? So, anything that you can associate with happiness is right about happiness. But don't forget to observe coherence and cohesion property. That's it for week number For week number 4, only one. So, a famous American writer and orator, Frederick Douglass, once said, "Once you learn to read, you will be forever free." Douglass meant that reading gives you the freedom to explore the world and bring that world into a new dimension of learning and discovery. Do you mainly agree or disagree with him? What are some of the effects of reading, such as books, newspapers, magazines, and even ebooks, on our lives? Are these effects mainly negative, positive, or both? Explain your position in an essay of 5 paragraphs. Use specific examples to support your view. Observe the mechanics in writing and be guided by the following criteria. So, in other words, you are asked to write an essay of 5 paragraphs. But let's make it a minimum of just 3 paragraphs. Minimum of 3 paragraphs essay. In the topic, do you agree? In the topic, do you agree with Frederick Douglass that whenever you read, you are freeing yourself, you are acquiring or getting or achieving freedom whenever you read? And what do you think are the effects of reading? So when you write your activity, your essay, focusing on reading, you have to be able to observe the 4 properties of well-written text. What are they again? Organization, coherence and cohesion, language use, and mechanics. Okay? I hope you've learned something or a thing or two from this video lesson, and our activity is clear to you. If you have question, guys, just feel free to post your question on our group chat. No personal message, please, because I might not be able to read it due to the volume of the messages that I'm getting. So, for your question to be addressed as soon as possible, just post on our group chat. Okay?